In early 1920, this glimpse of domestic happiness grated on many moviegoers. Francis X. Bushman and Beverly Bayne had reigned as America's favorite screen couple for half a decade. But after 1918, the two were suddenly symbols of all that was wrong with Hollywood entertainment. Today, this is how the world remembers Francis X. Bushman, arrogant and cruel as the Roman outpost commander in 1925's Ben-Hur. After 6 long years of being shunned and cast aside by movie studios, it was an impressive return to film. There were those, however, who doubted the goodwill would last. Motion pictures had their own bad reputation to overcome. The earliest flickers were commonly seen at private viewing machines in penny arcades. They offered forbidden views of illegal boxing matches and reenactments of historic executions. Often they coexisted with educational novelties like How Girls Undress. When screen projection became available, the transgressions were harder to ignore. Movie makers were forced to fight organized boycotts and government decrees by setting up their own censorship boards. Chicago's S&A studio prevailed by featuring family entertainments from the likes of Bronco Billy Anderson and pantomime clown Charlie Chaplin. Gaining traction with S&A's female viewers was a buff sculptor's model from Baltimore, whose very name inspired shivers: Francis X. Bushman. When Bushman was teamed in 1912 with 17-year-old newcomer Beverly Bayne, the chemistry was unmistakable. Patrons demanded more and more of Bushman and Bayne. They were the perfect screen mixture of male and female beauty. Their partnership was crowned by a romance of ancient Egypt, with a most prophetic title. It was common for actors of the era to make themselves appear attainable to fans. Married men kept their status secret in order to place higher in popularity polls. Bushman was now getting thousands of love letters each week, but among his colleagues, it was well known he had a wife and 4 children waiting in Baltimore. With Bushman's appeal as a leading man established, he was now being pursued by rival studios. In 1915, Fred J. Balshofer offered him a lucrative contract at Metro Pictures in Hollywood. It was the next logical step in a major actor's career. He cut ties with S&A and was soon sending for Josephine and the kids to join him in Los Angeles. Bushman's self-discipline and bodybuilding regimen must have seemed out of sync with the freewheeling West Coast lifestyle. As difficult as it was for Francis to fit in, it was much harder for Josephine and the kids. They decided they missed their life in Baltimore. That's where they would be waiting, they said, whenever he came to his senses. Now truly alone and facing a life with little purpose, Francis found his thoughts returning to Beverly. He got Metro to agree to giving her a contract, but when he called to tell her the news, she hesitated. Beverly was not keen on burning her bridges at S&A for a roll of the dice in Hollywood. Bushman offered to come out to Chicago and bring her back with him. To the ears of an unmarried Minnesota girl, it must have sounded much like a commitment. No one can say precisely when the real love affair between the two began. Anyone who has experienced the romance of train travel, however, might conclude things got more heated during that long ride back from Chicago. 3 days and nights together by rail would be enough time to reach a new level of trust and intimacy. Bushman might have told her of Metro's promise to pair them in a full-length film version of Romeo and Juliet. The world was waiting for just such a bright new chapter in the Bushman-Bayne romance. By the time they pulled into Los Angeles, Beverly was not only ready to sign with Metro, she had agreed to moving into the guest quarters of Bushman's home. Beverly knew about Bushman's family back east. She had even enjoyed Josephine's hospitality on at least one occasion. In Hollywood, no one cared about such things as propriety and living arrangements. It was an insulated company town, and reporters were only concerned about protecting their access to the stars. While preparations for Romeo and Juliet went forward at Metro, Bushman and Bayne appeared in a handful of light romances. Francis managed to offend studio executives with his own business interests, including dog breeding kennels and a private celebrity club. What no one foresaw was the danger from a rival Romeo and Juliet production. This one starred notorious screen vamp Theda Bara. When the two movies opened in the same month, critics mocked them both as vanity projects. While nursing their disappointment, Bushman and Bayne were asked to star in an 18-chapter serial titled The Great Secret. It was the maiden project of Louis B. Mayer, who hoped it would give him a foothold as an independent producer. When the first 4 chapters arrived in January 1917, America was on the brink of war. No one cared about Mayer's drawn-out romantic drama. Far worse for all of them was the news out of Baltimore. Josephine Bushman had lost patience with her long-absent husband and was filing for divorce. Bushman's hidden life was suddenly laid open for all to judge. Fans around the world felt betrayed and outraged. Theater owners took out newspaper ads, promising never again to book any pictures featuring the notorious adulterer, Francis X. Bushman. After his costly divorce from Josephine, Bushman quickly married his Juliet, and the two managed to get financing for one more independent feature. Ironically titled Modern Marriage, it was a dismal flop that ended any hopes of a screen career. But in 1923, as if by divine grace, Bushman received an offer to co-star in a lavish production of Ben-Hur to be filmed in Italy. It meant abandoning his wife and their newborn son, but it was a chance to reconnect with his fans. This time, though, he would not be setting hearts aflutter as the strong romantic hero. This time he would be playing Messala, the most dishonorable figure of villainy and betrayal since Judas. For both Francis and Beverly, the price was high.